Hey guys, welcome to Potato Reads Reddit. I'm Potato, and today we have a story about a husband who throws away all of OP's books because he doesn't like that she's not spending that time with him. Alright, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It is a huge help, and hit that notification button too if you feel like it. So, let's get into some stories. And our first story is from Wrong Turn 2020. Am I the asshole for demanding my husband to replace all the books he threw away? I, female 31, am a reader. Used to read a lot in my teenage years as an escape method from many of my problems and recently got back to reading. I read classic books since this category is my favorite. I spend time and effort visiting libraries and online shops to collect books. Thing is, my husband, male 33, hates it when I read. We've just returned from honeymoon 2 months ago, and he's been complaining about books taking our special time away, specifically at night, but I like to think that I'm balancing with my reading time. He has started calling me grandma, or say I remind him of an old lady neighbor to get me to quit reading, but it didn't budge me. A week ago, I found out that he's given my book collection away, and I was devastated after he defended himself, saying he did this for my own good and for the sake of our marriage since I seemed to forget my priorities. I flipped out, yelled at him that those books were hard to get, and demanded he pay me and replace them right then, but he said that I really should invest my time into an outdoor hobby we could both do, but I was having none of it, and demanded he replace the books. I gave him a list of every name of every book, and when he saw it, he laughed and asked if I was still really thinking about those books and suggested I move on. But I yelled at him, telling him he has a week to replace them, and that was it. He's trying to get me to let it go, and had others say it was childish of me to start a fight over some books while the library is open, but they got no comment from me. Am I the asshole for expecting him to replace the books? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Only because of refusing to let this fight go or just replacing the books myself. I mean, obviously not the asshole, right? I mean, that's your wife's hobby. Don't destroy that. That doesn't make any sense. No, you're obviously not the asshole. Your husband destroyed your property. That's not okay in any capacity. That's obvious. At the very least, that's obvious marriage counseling behavior, if not much worse. But let's hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below, and I'm going to read some of the most popular comments from the thread. And the first comment is Complex Guitar 7097. Not the asshole. Time to get an annulment or divorce. He seems very controlling, and it will only get worse. And Kauai replies to that saying, yeah, was he always like this, or just waiting for you to marry him? HDMX 539 replies to that saying, this is key. Abusers stop the love bombing and start the controlling, alienating, and abusive behaviors when they think they've got you. OP, if you don't have kids, don't have them. Edit. My husband has boxes and boxes of books and some magazines from his and his father that are annoying the ever-living freak out of me in the hallway. But you know what? Those are his, and I leave those books alone. That's what your husband should have done. Leave your property alone. Edit. Thank you for the storage advice, folks, but we got this handled. My point is that OP's spouse needs to just leave her stuff alone, period, regardless if it annoys him. Her books were clearly not in his personal physical way, just in his personal and abusively controlling way. Edit 2. It's not about him selling the books, it's about his boundary stomping, disrespect, and minimizing OP and who she is as a person, constantly trying to redirect her attention back to himself, if you note, instead of just letting her be herself. Good Girl's Grace responds to that saying, I think if he wasn't like this before marriage, that would be so much worse. He literally tricked OP into marrying someone he isn't, someone who respects his wife's hobbies and boundaries. If he waited for marriage to reveal his frankly abusive side, he's waiting until OP is trapped with legalities and papers so she couldn't leave him when she realizes he's abusive. So many red flags. He stole from OP. Taking other people's things without permission and throwing them away is textbook definition of theft. He's trying to deny his wife a healthy, beneficial habit she genuinely enjoys. Not just through any method, but through stealing. That's so controlling. Also, they've only been married for 2 to 3 months, and he's pulling this stuff? What the hell? He's forcing her into a hobby he likes. If this isn't an attempt at molding her into someone else, it at least shows that he puts his wants above OP's. OP, throw the husband out and get those books back. Or get even more books to replace him. Psycha the Casual says, not the asshole. To be honest, I would divorce right away if my partner did something like this. Just throwing away something your partner enjoys, and that is actually a healthy hobby, is just plain toxic and abusive. Next comment is from Crock of Pot. Info, is your husband named Gaston? Alright, and that's it for that story. We'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below, if you feel like it. And now we're going to move on to the next story, which was from I Sold a Family Heirloom. Am I the asshole for selling my ex-fiance's family heirloom when he wouldn't pay me back for our cancelled wedding? I, 27 female, was supposed to get married to my ex-fiance, Mason, 29 male, on the 20th of this month. But last week a mutual friend caught him cheating on me with his ex Kim, so I called it off. Because it's so close to our wedding date, I had already booked everything, like the venue, catering, and everything else. I barely managed to get any money back, as it's mostly non-refundable, so in total I've lost about $20,000. Last year I took out a loan to cover the cost of the wedding. The longer I take to repay it, the more interest it gets. When we first got engaged, Mason agreed to sharing our finances together, meaning had we got married I would have been able to pay it off. This was supposed to be in our prenup, but because we didn't get married, it meant he no longer had to share finances. I asked him if he was still willing to help and told him that I will go into debt if he doesn't, as I can't repay it alone. He told me, "It isn't my problem you took out a loan you can't pay back," and stopped responding after that. When we got engaged, Mason proposed to me with a family heirloom ring belonging to his great-grandmother that was worth $25,000. When we canceled the wedding, he told me he wanted the ring back, but we never got around to arranging a time he could pick it up. Because I don't want to go into debt, I told him that if he didn't agree to help pay it off, I wanted a lawyer involved, that I would sell the ring. He didn't repay and ignored the messages, however. After talking to a mutual friend, Jake, I found out he had actually read the messages and told everyone he didn't care because I wouldn't do it. I asked Jake to tell Mason that if I don't get a message from him in the next 24 hours that I would sell the ring. Jake told me he again said he didn't care and didn't think I would do it, so the next day I sold the ring to an online website and messaged Mason to tell him it had been done and told him he shouldn't have underestimated me. He started cussing me out, saying I didn't scare him and that he would be around for the ring later. True to his word, he came to my house demanding the ring and I told him I sold it already and showed him the proof. He blew up at me, saying I was a petty and that I shouldn't have sold it because it wasn't just a ring, it was an heirloom that meant a lot to his family. A lot of my family members think I overreacted and shouldn't have gone to the extreme measures, as it will be hard for him to get the ring back, if he even can at all. Am I the asshole for selling his great-grandmother's ring? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I sold his ring after I canceled our wedding because he cheated. I feel bad because it's his great-grandmother's ring and he won't be likely to get it back. No, OP, no, you're definitely not the asshole. I mean, if it had been mutual, then maybe, but he cheated, right? He cheated. You can't take a cheater into account. It's as simple as that, right? So he cheated on you. So no, you're definitely not the asshole in this. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. You know, was she the asshole? Does the heirloom take precedence? You know, or maybe she should have gone to her ex's family and been like, hey, he cheated on me, and I have this ring, and it's in my possession, it's my property. If your family wants it back, you guys can buy out the wedding, and I'll give you the ring, or I'm going to sell the ring and pay off my debt. Yeah, maybe that would have been, I don't know. Let's hear from you guys. Right, I want to hear from you guys. So we'll move on. And the first comment is from, I'm just here for Am I the Asshole? Not the asshole. You, pay me back or I'll sell the ring. Mason, no. You, sells the ring. Mason, shocked Pikachu face. You gave him all the warning in the world. Can't be the asshole given that. And Werner CD responds to that saying, yeah, on top of that, he's an ex because he got caught cheating. Not the asshole, and he got what he asked for. He screwed around, then screwed around and found out. And Fianna9 says, I believe that engagement rings and heirlooms should be returned after a breakup. That being said, he cheated a month before the wedding, blocked your messages, refused to help pay, and mocked you. As Reddit loves to say, he screwed around and found out, not the asshole. And Flowers in the Sky 21 says, not the asshole, but never take a loan out for a freaking wedding. I was thinking the same thing, actually. You're going into debt over something that can be done at a courthouse. That's bad money management. Mama of Twin Dragon says, I was really prepared to give a different vote, but if you don't want to lose a valuable family heirloom, don't give it to someone and then cheat on them. Also, believe that person the many times they warn you that they'll sell it to pay for a wedding that had to be cancelled due to your own antics. So yeah, not the asshole, OP, and it sounds like you're so much better off without Mason in your life. And that's it for the comments. Tell us what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by EmbarrassedFlan557. Am I the asshole for the rules and conditions I've made for my wedding? I, 19 female, am getting married to my partner of 2 years, 21 male, in February 2022. We recently sent out our invites and RSVPs, which we decided to include the conditions to attending on. The rules and conditions were, everybody attending must be vaccinated, masks will be worn by guests during the ceremony, it is an unplugged ceremony, so I'm asking that phones be left in the cars, no children, we are asking that nobody wear black, white, or pink. I phrased it much nicer on the invitations. We want everybody to be vaccinated and wear masks to protect mostly my partner's great-grandparents and my uncle with an autoimmune disorder. We chose to be unplugged because we have a wonderful photographer and want everybody to be in the moment. I remember being at my sister's wedding and everybody was trying to get her attention for pictures and ruining several pictures the photographer took. So I don't want that to be the case with mine. We've gotten with no children because neither of us have kids, and overall just aren't a fan of them. And lastly, the colors. I am wearing a blush pink dress, so that's why I added pink to off-limit colors. Black and white because it's traditionally rude at weddings, and I know how my family is. After invites were sent out, I got many calls and texts saying I was being unreasonable, or that people weren't going to come. I've told everybody that I understand if they are unable to attend. Some example of calls and texts. My Nana saying she only owns white outfits that she wants to wear on the wedding. My aunt saying she only owns black church clothes and couldn't find anything else. The same aunt saying if she doesn't have her phone then she can't take pictures and won't have anything to post. Several anti-vax/anti-mask telling me they won't do that for some silly wedding. I've tried to be polite to everybody, but have still told them that I understand if they are unable to attend and that we can hopefully get together sometime after the wedding for lunch or something of that nature. My partner is thinking we might be too strict with our rules as our guest list was originally 200 and is probably going to be around 150-ish if the ones currently saying they don't like the rules don't attend. So am I the asshole? And OP has provided an edit. The only complaints I'm currently getting are from people wanting to take pictures. If anybody came to me saying they needed to keep in touch with a sitter, etc., I would be absolutely fine with it. Edit 2. I only want an unplugged ceremony, which is only expected to last about 30 minutes. I'm perfectly fine with phones at the reception. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. My partner and I made rules for our wedding and think we might be the asshole because a lot of our guests likely won't attend. I'm kind of on the fence on this, but the only reason I'm on the fence is because of the no black, because I didn't even know that was a rule. I've worn a black suit to almost every wedding I've ever been at. I was unaware that you weren't supposed to wear black at a wedding. I knew about white, and I certainly knew that you didn't wear whatever color the bride was wearing, but I did not know about black. Oh, well, I guess wedding, for women, black dresses might be off limits because of funerals now that I'm thinking about it. But either way, I don't know about that one. I'm on the fence on it. But as far as the unplugged portion of it goes, I mean, how hard is it to not have your phone for 30 minutes? Like, she clarified it in an edit, but really, Like, it was pretty clear that she only wanted it unplugged for the wedding itself, not for the reception. So how hard is it to just, turn the ringer off on your phone and don't pull it out of your pocket for 30 minutes? That's not a big ask as far as I'm concerned, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm going against the grain on this, but I'm going to go with not the asshole for you guys, actually. And that's about all I have to say on it. Tell us what you guys think down in the comments below, and we'll move on to some comments from the actual post. Our first comment is from Nailed by V. No assholes here. I'd never be able to go to a wedding with these rules, so I can see why you're having a lot of people declining. A couple of them are really unrealistic. Voicing why they won't go doesn't really make them the asshole, though, and you're entitled to your rules. And Strawberry Glass Onion replies to that saying, you can't refrain from staying off your phone and wearing an outfit that isn't one of 3 specific colors for one event. Icy Cold 8692 replies to that saying, I'm sorry, but I can't not have my phone on me if my children are being watched by someone else. I couldn't give a rat's butt about the colors, but I won't be unreachable if something were to happen, or even if my kids wanted to say goodnight. I can respect the fact of no photo taking, but I'm not leaving my phone in a car where it could also get stolen. Hot Photograph 1531 says, lol, that's a lot of rules. Not taking photos during the ceremony, sure. No kids, sure. Can't wear black or pink, GTFO. That's insanely bridezilla in my opinion. It's always been a rule not to upstage the bride and wear white, but excluding 3 colors, get out. Asking for masks, sure, totally understandable. Requiring people to get a vaccine, way over the top. I would not attend your wedding. Spacey Gracie 12 says, not the asshole. I personally like wearing a little black dress, lol, but I would figure something out. You have every right to try and make the wedding safe for your medically fragile family members, and I think you are right about telling people not to be filming on their phones. Nobody needs to be posting your wedding on social media, FFS. I know some people have a hard time about the child-free rule because they don't have trusted childcare, etc., but as long as you aren't giving people a hard time for not attending, it's fine. Congratulations, I hope you have a wonderful wedding day. Moonlady523 says, the no phones rule is a bit much. I do agree about the no white and pink, but black? It is definitely not rude to wear black. That's kind of silly. I don't feel you're an asshole, but parts of your requests need rethinking. Also, 150 people is a large wedding. No assholes here. Diary of Shower Meme says, you're the asshole. The white dress and mask and vaccine parts are reasonable rules, but you can't have both the no children rule and no phone rule together. How do you expect parents to contact their babysitter? Haley7211 says, soft, you're the asshole. As a woman, I have a firm policy to never attend any function that tries to separate me from my phone. What if there's an emergency and I need to contact the police? I understand you expect your wedding to be a safe event, but you cannot prevent a fire or possible emergencies or creepy situations. The concerns about childcare are also completely valid. You can request that they not take photos and be silent, but not having their phones is a level of control that is not appropriate. You cannot ask people to reduce their safety so you have a perfect wedding. And that's it for all the comments. Why don't you tell us what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by Unwanted Choice 78. Am I the asshole for running away from my biological daughter and subsequently hurting her feelings? Hello, I apologize for any formatting issues. I am on mobile. Backstory. I gave up a baby when I was 15 and had a closed adoption. I don't want children and was made to birth her after becoming pregnant. On to the issue. Recently I've, 38 female, began receiving numerous messages via social media and letters from my bio daughter, 23 female. I'll be honest, I wasn't thrilled nor interested in communication, so I simply mailed her a letter stating my intention to have no contact besides exchanging medical history. Fast forward to last December. I noticed someone following me around the supermarket. Alarmed, I quickly checked out and ran for my car when somebody yelled, "Wait!" I soon quickly realized it was her and ducked behind some cars, hopping in my car. She tapped on my window and begged to talk, and I yelled at her to leave me alone. She cried, I drove away, and have since received a barrage of hate from her family. Am I the asshole for hiding and yelling? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Because I hid and yelled at her in a public setting, I wonder if I'm the asshole, as they were somewhat cruel. OP, I'm gonna say not the asshole at all, from what I think. I mean, it's wildly inappropriate and possibly, criminal what she's doing, because, what she's doing, you have no idea how she found you. But yeah, she's a stalker. So I'm gonna go with a straight up not the asshole for this, because that is wildly inappropriate on her part. Just wildly inappropriate. So yeah, no, not the asshole. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. And I'm going to move on to reading some of the comments from the post. One commenter says, not the asshole. She's stalking you and that's not okay. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's stalking. You need to report her to the police. Accomplice Cheek 59 says, not the asshole. You were forced to give birth to her. It wasn't a choice. It was forced on you. That is the most horrifically traumatic thing I could imagine. Especially so young. I can't imagine what that was like. You had a closed adoption. She has no right to be hunting you down like this. She basically stalking you, and ambushing you like that would be so frightening. She clearly is not going to let up, so perhaps the best thing to do is write a letter clearly stating that you have no desire to have any interaction with her. Lay out a minimal account of how she was born and adopted, highlighting that you were forced to endure pregnancy as a minor and she is re-traumatizing you by trying to force you into a relationship you have stated, both at the time and now, that you do not want. This gives her answers about her past and lays out exactly why you don't want contact. With context, hopefully she and her family will back off. It shouldn't take you giving context for them to do so, but that's the world we live in. Send it by registered delivery to ensure you have a record of it. And then, if she and her family continue to harass you, go to the police and request a restraining order. It's hard to be adopted and feel desperate for a connection to your past, but her desire for that does not trump your desire to not have that connection. Allie McKay 476 says, as an adoptee, not the asshole. If you're sharing medical information, you're doing the only thing you're ethically required to do. It's hard for adoptees and closed adoptions who want contact when a bio parent doesn't, but they need to deal with it. Her stalking you is super inappropriate. And our last comment is from Parisian Wood. OP is 100% not the asshole. That was a closed adoption for a reason. OP has no interest in hearing from the baby she gave up and explained as much in a letter. For her daughter to then stalk her at a grocery store to try and corner her into a meeting? Absolutely atrocious, as is the mail she received from her family. OP owes her nothing except the medical history, which she has provided, not the asshole. Alright guys, that's all the stories we have for today. We'd love to hear from you down in the comments what you thought about the stories that we read out. Also, if you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and hit that notification bell too if you feel like it. Alright, thank you for spending your time with us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and you have a great day. Okay, goodbye.